live, and there you guys go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the BS Busters Midweek Podcast for December the 9th. I am Joy Eli Moonstar, and of course, this is also Kenoshi Abominito.
This is Kenoshi Abominito, here to say that the never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Ain't that always what happens? Anyhow,
I remember what I was gonna say. This is Kenoshi Abominito, here to say that Romeo and Juliet is a dark comedy.
whew, interesting thoughts there. And tonight, this is kind of a grab bag night, or potluck if you call it. Red Fox is going to be joining us after a while, but some of the stuff that we brought to this potluck is Cyberpunk 2077 controversies, or rather the reviews. I'm not sure how those things are rolling out. The PS5 scalpers, F them personally. The Game Awards, from hardware thoughts as to how the hardware came up over the years, and video game music. Is it better or worse than what's on the radio?
Those are some good topics. Who wants to dive into this first?
Uh, uh let's talk about video game music, and we can talk about that first.
All right.
That's a surprise.
So that's
Since
just,
this is since this potluck piece is from me.
All right. Since you're the one who gave up the topic, I'll let. How about someone else start it off? Kenoshi, you want to start it off?
Video game music, is it better or worse than what's on the radio? I guess that's subjective. It just depends what kind of music you're into. I mean, the thing about video game music is that it ranges all sorts of different genres, and a lot of video game music, at least to me, uh, doesn't really. A lot of it, I really can't listen to outside of its context. I mean, there's rare exceptions, but usually I enjoy it a lot better within its context and outside of its context. What I mean by that is that it's hard for me to listen to a lot of video game music you know, just like on the radio, like jamming to it on the radio versus versus other music. But is it better or worse than that's on the radio? I really can't say. I have to be a bit more specific with that.
In a sense, I'm gonna have to break this part out of the way. And in my case, it would be. I would say that video game music actually is surpassing radio because there's a there's a larger there's a larger variety and it has a lot more tone and by the feel of it, more effort put into it. Like
First
you
of
can.
all, we have to define what's radio. Are we talking about the car radio? Are we talking about Spotify? Are we talking about
Serious.
Siri? Like
Yeah.
radio
I'm
is such a
talking about
broad
the
thing these days.
I'm talking about the radio that you usually would be on a default with, which would be FM radio.
Oh, you're talking about
Uh, then I
yeah.
have to then I have to agree because here's what I'll say about video game music. Video game music, much like cartoons were back in the day, gets you into different genres of music you normally wouldn't listen to on the radio because the radio is just what's popular right now. Like like when we were kids and we were watching Looney Tunes, like some of the silly symphonies, they were playing classical music. Like if you're playing like Donkey Kong Country, a lot of that was like jazz and like a lot of the stuff that you
And
heard
techno and
and
beat.
techno and rock, like things you normally wouldn't listen to on the radio. Um,
Yeah.
So you were getting into genres of music you might not have normally liked, but you got into it. You listen to Final Fantasy. A lot of that later was re-released as arranged symphonic music. Um, so you were getting into things that you normally wouldn't get into. I mean, some of the best musicians you heard that aren't as mainstream, but were in video games, like Yuzo Koshiro with Streets of Rage. Um, what's his name? Shit. David Wise, who did tons of video game music for Rare. Like tons of video game music
Oh
for Rare.
yeah, and for
Um,
some of us, which probably is gonna annoy you to heck, Red, Crush 40.
I don't know who Crush 40 is. Sorry.
That they made the Sonic Adventure, some of the Sonic Adventure songs.
Well, then that explains it because I never really cared about that game, so I wasn't like I never played that game. I was like, you know what? I need to know. I need to absolutely know who is who. I need to know who's playing this video game music. But then again, I was never that into Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I was never into 3D Sonic the Hedgehogs. Although, man, I do love that Sonic the Hedgehog 1 uh, soundtrack and Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog 2. 3, I could take it or leave it, but 1 and 2, great music.
yeah.
You know, and video game music has really like people. You can go on YouTube and look up tons of 8-bit and 16-bit remixes and Genesis remixes of SNES games and SNES remixes of Sega Genesis games.
Yeah, I was about to say that there's even some music retro shot, as in current music done in an 8-bit style.
Yeah, and it's some old stuff like there's nothing like hearing the 8-bit version of "Living on the Prayer" by Bon John Jovi. It sounds pretty
Yeah.
good too. Listening to
Yeah.
old rock ballads in 8-bit actually sounds pretty good. Listening to Smooth Criminal from the Moonwalker soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
I mean, video games got people into music that they normally wouldn't have listened to, and I give it props for that. Whereas the radio is all about what's popular right now. Matter of fact, I would say radio has gotten
worse.
worse, yeah. Because radio, when I was a kid, you still had specialty FM stations. Like you'd have a specialty FM station that did nothing but smooth jazz and R&B and funk. You'd have one that was nothing but rock. Now, like most of them are playing what's popular in that region, and that's it. And then you'd have an FM news station that tells you traffic, weather, news type stuff. And then the ultra niche stations,
Yeah, but I was about to say that. Would you categorize them as specialty stations like Sirius FM?
Well, Sirius is satellite radio, so that like Sirius radio is kind of like the ultra specialty stations from back in the day, except you don't really have commercials, except more commercials for that station, which is weird. It's like you're listening to, frankly, Sinatra. It's like I know I put it on that station because I wanted to listen to old school jazz and Frank Sinatra. Well, I'm just letting you know you're listening to more of it. Okay, I get it. Come on,
Yeah, that's the reason why I said that I put it as normal FM radio.
Yeah, I like FM radio. I wouldn't put Sirius with FM because Sirius is so.
As I said, that's the reason why I said FM specifically than the specialized stations like Sirius, because FM radio is what everybody would be able to reach out for.
Yeah, yeah. Although there are some vehicles where it's like, I mean, like FM has changed so much. Because when I was a kid, all you had was AM and FM. I remember the first time I went to someone's car that had 2 FMs. I was like, 2 FMs, you bougie bastard. And now, and now it's like you've got cars that have like 4 FM bands. I'm like, good God, and 2 AM bands. I'm like, Jesus, how much media do you need?
Yeah, I can only imagine how much quality you get from the normal AM and FM radio stations where you are.
Well, I live in a major media market, so there's like a nice sampling of everything. Like, there's a station for everybody where I live. But if you live someplace that's not a major media market and you don't have a good antenna for your radio, you're probably just SOL, which is kind of sad. You know, like if you live in the middle of nowhere, all you're gonna have is the middle of nowhere music. You know, which is sad. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like if you live someplace and you hate country music, all you're gonna hear is country music. Always loving you. Shut up. Shut up. Like even like you
and
know,
you wonder why I hate country music.
because you probably live someplace that's not part of a major media market and you're just stuck with just trash, which is weird because you think like where you are, you're close to northern Florida, aren't you?
Um, Actually, I'm right between Florida and Atlanta.
No, I mean like
I mean,
geographically, you're closer to northern Florida than you are to Atlanta, right?
I think so.
Because if you were near Atlanta, that's where the black folks live in Georgia. They definitely should have some good radio stations there. Like,
Yeah, the thing is, I was trying. The only other station that ever plays is E93 Jams.
and after a while, you get tired of that. Yeah, where I
Well,
live.
the thing about radio is they only have like a limited amount of tracks that they play throughout the day. Like I've turned on a radio station at the exact same time, and then you'll hear the same song at like
Oh yeah.
7:30 every morning.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like what weird.
Have you ever had this happen? You're listening on one station, and then a commercial comes on, and then you go to another station, and they start playing the song that was on that other station too. You're like, come on, man.
It's really weird.
I've had that happen to me. Like, remember when Happy was in Pharrell's Happy?
Yeah.
You like literally, you could go to 3 different stations and have different portions of that damn song playing at the same damn time, switching between the channels, between the stations.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a time when we didn't have Spotify and
No,
YouTube
this I'm
Music.
talking normal FM. Spotify is actually pretty good. Because you can like Spotify, you can choose which like you're like okay, I want R&B, jazz, blues, rock and roll. They'll give you like 4 different caches of rock and roll. So there's like old school rock and roll, new rock and roll, metal. Like Sirius is great, and it's gotten so much less expensive than it used to be. Because I remember when Sirius first came out, it was like $300, $400 a year. Adjust for inflation, that's like $700, $800 now. It was
Yeah, because
ridiculously expensive.
they have to compete with iTunes Music and Spotify.
Well,
It's more competition now.
Sirius, it's not so much the competition with Sirius, it's that like more people got it, so the price went down. It's kind of like when microwaves first came out. They were prohibitively expensive, so only very wealthy people had them. And then as more people bought them, the price went down. That's just
Yeah.
normal technology. You know, as more people buy things, like when computers first came out, you know, everyone's like, "This is an affordable family computer," and you adjust for inflation, everything. It's like the affordable family computer from the 1980s was like $10,000. You're like, "Come on, that's not affordable."
Yeah.
that's that's like a car. That's like your family bought a car and paid it off over 5 or 6 years. But then again, you used to be able to get a house for like under for like if you bought a $60,000 house back in the day, you could pay that off over 10, 15, 20 years and have your house paid off. You can't do that anymore. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
if you went and said I want to buy a house for $60,000, the bank and the realtor would laugh you out of their office.
Yeah, you gotta at least spend because a $60,000 house is a dump. Like some
Well,
of these chart versus a house that's you have to pay 100K or more to get a decent house.
I mean, I'll keep it real. If I was house hunting and someone showed me a $60,000 house, I would laugh them out of my house and be like, nah, no, no. There are more rats and roaches in that house than house.
Yeah. The house is made of roaches.
You know, but I don't know why we went off on this tangent. So, Joel, if you would like to, anything you want to add to your topic?
To be honest with you, I'm surprised that you don't have one, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Otherwise, I think I'm good.
All right. Uh, okay.
Though, I just forgot to ask, what do you bring to this potluck?
I already said. I said that that video game music is better than radio music right now. It could
I
get.
mean, subjects to talk about.
Well, I was just gonna let you guys go on, but I always have something in my back pocket in case we get done early. Just one topic, but I think it'll be good.
Okay.
Um,
So, so that means that leaves us with four things to work with.
yeah. Look. You guys stepped up to the plate and knocked it out the park. So you know what?
So,
Okay. So,
Awesome.
Kenoshi, which topic you going to talk about first? Now that mine's is over.
oh, I was gonna bring up the whole controversy with the Cyberpunk 2077.
What
Apparently there's some,
controversy?
I get
The review
cyber
copies
shit.
are now being allowed to speak out without restraint.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
there was a review embargo, but a lot of games have that. I don't really consider that to be a controversy.
Let's just say
no, it's apparently there are some glaring bugs that
Yeah,
are
but
plaguing some of the were plaguing reviewers.
this game
Like,
is huge. I mean, it's a huge open world RPG.
And that's something I was going to bring up. It's been in development for 8 years. It's has a lot happening inside the game.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and all those bugs are still in there.
well, to be fair, from what because I've read some of those reviews because I pre-ordered the game and Amazon just shipped it, so I'll get mine tomorrow.
Yeah.
From the bugs that I've from what the reviewers have said, most of the bugs are like cosmetic, like people glitching through stuff, which is bad. But the game still isn't as buggy as Fallout 4
Yeah,
or
I was
Fallout
about to
3
say
or
that
Fallout New
there's
Vegas.
there's at least three kinds of levels of bugs. The the visual bugs, the control bugs, and then the game engine bugs.
Or in other words, there's a minor bug like Nintendo. If Nintendo has bugs, they're normally something minor. Then there's like, it's a bug. It's not really breaking the game, but it's noticeable bugs. Like, most, um,
I was about to say
most.
Assassin's Creed.
No, Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft had bugs with some of their games where the coding was so bad that the bugs were growing and destroying the game. So that's bad. And then there's the third tier, which is Bethesda, and, and and this game is like in the second tier, not in the third tier of Bethesda. So it's. Like, here's the thing: the fact that they were able to make this huge open world game and it doesn't have Bethesda level bugs only puts paid to the fact that Bethesda is is a shit developer.
I have to agree with that. As much as I was a little worried about how many bugs might still be in the game after 8 years, Bethesda could spit those bugs out in a heartbeat with one of their games.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, but to be fair, let's just keep it real. Every open world Bethesda, like made by the studio Bethesda, not Bethesda Softworks, the publisher. Every open world Bethesda game made by that studio with that engine has been shit. So, I mean, we all knew they made terrible open world games when Fallout 4 came out, and then the other open world, Xenoblade Chronicles X came out that was huge. A lot of stuff going on in that world, and you didn't have any of those bugs. Okay? Yeah, monsters might have popped up, anywhere, but you weren't falling through the floor. Your game wasn't crashing.
Yeah, or or the system lagging when after playing so long.
Well, the
I
system.
also want to I also want to bring up the fact that gamers have memories of a goldfish, and that a lot of CD Project Red games when they first come out are a little
But
slightly undercooked. Not
Yeah,
Bethesda undercooked, but
yeah,
The Witcher
it's
2 had problems. The Witcher 3 had problems.
yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Unlike Bethesda, which like if you play Skyrim, vanilla Morrowind, vanilla Daggerfall, vanilla Arena, vanilla Oblivion, all their games, they will only patch them to where, uh, you know, their emergency repairs, it just kind of rolls along, but it's all janky. They will repair them to a certain point. Those bugs are never going to get fixed. Modders fix those games. You can play The
yeah,
Witcher 3 right now, the vanilla version that CD Projekt Red worked on. That game might not be perfect, but like 90% of the bugs in that game have been taken care of by CD Projekt Red. 90%. Bethesda, only about 40% of those games and of those bugs in vanilla Skyrim were fixed by Bethesda. The others, like 40% on top of that, is the modding community. So it's like the game comes out, it's buggy, but I know CD Projekt Red's gonna work on
yeah.
Yeah.
it. I'm not like,
I
oh
mean,
my god.
at least you guys can understand that I was only I was only worried about the bigger bugs, like the game killers. And that, as long as the game killers are not in there, as in as in those game killing bugs, that actually gave me a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I'm already invested. Look, I okay. Look, you guys need to understand something. Okay, when I saw this game being demoed, when I heard that CD Projekt Red, when they said the game that they were working on after The Witcher was they were working on a techno game and it wasn't set in The Witcher. It wasn't a Witcher sequel. And then I saw Cyberpunk 2077. I was like, oh shit. Because I've played that tabletop game. So I kind of was already invested in the game. But just to show that I'm a true believer, I bought a Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One controller, special edition. I have the Cyberpunk 2077 game book, strategy guide, and a physical copy of the digital game. I would have gotten a collector's edition, but that shit got sold out. So,
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a, is somebody's fanboy boner showing.
not really. It's not fanboy. It's not me fanboying out about the game. It's me basically acknowledging that there are certain games you really want to see succeed because Cyberpunk was created by Mike Pondsmith. He's a black nerd, so I'm like, I gotta support black nerds in the video game industry. And while CD Projekt Red, kind of their marketing was kind of annoying with the faux edge lord stuff. I wasn't really that into it. I also don't like how they're like, well, this isn't a political game. Every cyberpunk novel, video game, cyberpunk genre tabletop game is very political. They're making statements on society, extrapolated into a future where technology has gone beyond what we have now. All of them. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. But aside from that, I mean,
Yeah,
with the pedigree of CD Projekt Red, I mean, did anyone think this game was going to be like absolutely terrible?
Ah,
I
I didn't think it was going to be. But I haven't really been looking at this game that much, so I haven't been following the
I was a little worried
marketing and stuff
that
like
they were
that.
pushing a little hard for the finish,
Yeah,
but otherwise I thought it was going all right mostly.
but I mean, CD Projekt Red has shown that they have some type of pedigree with their work, and like their games have gotten better. Like The Witcher One sucked. The Witcher Two better than the first one. It went from suckage to okay, and The Witcher 3 is great. So literally, you've seen a trajectory to their games becoming more refined,
It showed
and
Yeah.
better
progress.
designed. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is the opposite of BioWare, because BioWare has always been inconsistent. Okay, um, like Neverwinter Night. Sorry, Baldur's Gate, good. No, the first Baldur's Gate is okay. Baldur's Gate 2, great. Uh, uh, then you go to Jade Empire, pretty goddamn good. Then you go to Mass Effect, good. No, KOTOR, okay. Yeah, I said it. The first KOTOR, it's okay. It's not great. Mass Effect, great. Mass Effect 2, also great, but in a different way. Mass Effect 3 is the most gorgeous looking of all the Mass Effect games. Not that good of a game.
Yeah.
All because of three choices.
What?
All because of three choices, in a sense.
Well, I mean, Mass Effect 3, not even the story. Mass Effect 3's gameplay was kind of,
Bland.
well, like basically, Mass Effect 1 is an RPG with action elements added in. Mass Effect 2 is an action game with RPG elements added in. Mass Effect 3 is just an action game with some very light RPG elements added in, and they're very light. Like blink and you miss them. Um, and that ending is just hot buttered ass. Yeah, I said it. Um, but yeah, I I I don't think there's a controversy. I think what happened is that a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers made videos about it because they wanted views, because controversy wins views. But like CD Projekt Red hasn't released a game that was fundamentally messed up at launch since the first Witcher. And that's because like that game should have used turn-based combat, and yet they tried to make it do an action game with tank controls, which just doesn't work.
Action and tank controls.
Yeah, the combat in the first Witcher is
It's-
bad.
I was about to say, I'm having PS1 flashbacks.
It's bad. The combat in the first, it's really bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is.
Horrid.
It is. Well, The Witcher 2 had better combat. It still wasn't great, but the first Witcher had some of the worst combat that series has ever had. So much so that they had to make the Witcher 1 remix, like a re-release, Ultimate Edition, where they had to fix the combat, and it's still not great, but it's better than it was when it was first released. Um, but that's just my opinion. Anyone else have any other topic? Anything else they want to say about it before we throw it back to Jewel for her next topic? Kanoshi?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, here we go. Jewel.
So, it's back to me, huh?
Yep.
Alright, the other topic I had is talking about horror resolutions, and this is something to give to you boys in a sense in the topics, which is the evolution of hardware from one system to another. It's kind of gotten like how some people are given New Year's resolutions to go on a diet or work out. Some of those haven't went out as well.
You want to know what I think is really funny about all of these resolutions, like these companies talking about their hardware resolutions? Microsoft is saying that these consoles will hit 4K, and Sony is saying these consoles will hit 8K, and I'm like, Okay, first of all, there are no 8K TVs on the market as of right now.
The 3080 and 3080 and 3090 are having trouble running Cyberpunk 2077 4K 60.
Yeah,
So
and
with ray tracing.
and the sad
So,
thing, the sad thing about all of this is that we had like none of these consoles with their games are really hitting 60 frames per second solid. Like Miles Morales, the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man expansion that Sony got these dumbasses to pay $60 for. Sorry, 70 on the PS5 because they are smart. And yeah, I meant to say it like that. They are smart. But they got these people to pay $70 for on the PS5. Had to have a patch so that it can hit 60 frames per second, and it's still not solid. So let me get this straight. You have these ultra powerful ninth gen consoles, and they can't even hit 60 frames per second
yeah,
at 1080p.
You can't have it all with these consoles. You know, it seems like they've marketed it to where you can have it all, but you're not gonna have it all. I'm sorry.
I mean, well, you could have it all if you had a gaming PC, but even then you have to make sacrifices, you know. But on console you can't have it all. But the hilarious thing about all of this is that we had 60 frames per second solid in the sixth gen between the original Xbox and the GameCube. There were 60 frames per second games on those systems, no frame dips, solid.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a lost art. Console makers today, aside from Nintendo, cannot make games that have solid frame rates. Oh, they're gorgeous, but if you want to see some stuttering and frame skipping, go ahead. Which for some, like, okay, I like RPGs, so frames skipping doesn't bother me because most RPGs are very they're paced in a way that you don't need quick twitch reflexes in order to play them. But if you're playing like fighting games, first-person shooters, racing games, like things where your reflexes matter, why in the nine hells would you release a console that can't hit a solid 60 frames?
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather have 1080p and 60 frames solid than 2K and it's stuttering all over the place, or 4K and it's stuttering all over the place.
Yeah.
Like that song by Michael Jackson. Why? Do 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 do. Why? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you do me this way? Why?
It seems like we've been through this song and dance for, I don't know, last 15 years now with the resolutions and the...
it's like, I mean, these consoles are going through the New Year's resolutions, like how some people are going through the resolutions to lose weight or go to the gym more often.
Or someone who's an addict saying they're not going to do it again. And gamers keep on falling for it. You know, they're like, well, they said, I mean, yeah, I know my cousin who's a meth addict who I let into my house 3 times and they stole all my shit and sold it for more meth. But they said this time is different. It's not different.
And they're like,
just going to do it again.
And they're like, oh, well, you know, I hear people talking about, oh, these are just first gen, you know, these are just the first round of games that are coming out. Hold on, you know, we'll get there soon. It's like, we've heard that song, we've heard that before.
Look, these people
we've heard that before.
These people had two, like, here's the thing, okay? It's not like with
and
Nintendo.
They're still on x86. Everybody, like, it's not like they have to optimize.
I agree with you. It's not like Nintendo with the jump from the Wii U to the Switch. Because functionally speaking, the Switch is basically a sleeker Wii U gamepad. Like, it's the Wii U gamepad, except more advanced. But that's basically what it is, okay? So it's not like you had to do a major jump in everything. These consoles, you know, and Nintendo had about from the Wii U really starting to struggle, they had about 3 solid years of being able to prepare themselves for moving games over and having something to launch with that was going to be dynamite. And even though like the big games that came to the Switch at launch, a lot of those were like Wii U ports. It still was like they marketed well. They had some killer apps. It was good. These people had 2.5, 3 years to come out with something good, and all of them are acting like somebody who knew they had an exam for like 3 months before the finals and didn't bother to study until the morning of. That's basically how Sony and Microsoft are acting with these consoles. Oh, we have a final today? Shit, I didn't know. You knew for 3 months. We had a whole week before exams to study in groups for the exam. That's these games are underwhelming on these consoles. Microsoft didn't even launch with a Halo.
Yeah.
And usually you don't see Microsoft without Halo or some kind of shooting game with them.
I mean, even the Xbox One launched with the Halo Master Chief Collection. But
Yeah, no, and it's just you know, and it's they keep everybody keeps falling for the same thing over and over again.
yeah, just keep on. Hey, I don't.
You know, as the generation goes on, and you know the developers want to do more with their games, supposedly, you know, probably not going to see a lot of probably going to end up not seeing as many 60 FPS games.
No, either that or they're gonna have to downgrade some stuff in order to make 60 frames per second work.
Yeah.
Because that's what we deal with, folks. Because look, you've been gypped, you've been tricked. Every console has to give up some things in order to get something else. Like the Switch, in order to get that portability and power level used in order to get stuff to work, um, the Switch there's certain the Switch struggles with certain types of stuff. Plus, it's using really old a really old CPU GPU combo. You know.
And of course again, yes, all consoles usually have something that is eventually old right when they release the system.
Yeah, every console is using old tech. Okay, even these new consoles are they're using last gen or the prototype stuff of AMD in these consoles. They're not using the top of the line stuff. If you think you're getting the top of the line, you're not. Either that or Microsoft and Sony is going to be selling all their stuff at a loss. Which, why?
Yeah, that's the thing that I always have to keep in mind, that especially with Nintendo, that they are using past technology to make their stuff.
Well, I mean that's every console manufacturer though. No one wants to use the top of the line stuff because it's too expensive.
I would say that would jack up the price to frightening levels.
Unless you want to spend ungodly amounts of money on your console. I mean,
Yeah, I was at least saying that if you expect the console to have the best of current generation, be ready to see a high price tag.
yeah. But that's my own personal opinion. I know some people are gonna get mad at me when I say that because you know. Anyway, anything else you want to say
I think I'm covered, basically.
about this stupid battle about things that don't matter?
Reason why I don't, reason why I never judge games on audio and visuals, because they're in the eyes of the beholder, or ears.
I mean, it depends on the game. Like some games, Like, okay, if you're playing a sim, graphics matter. If you're playing a game where, like, if you're playing a GTA game and you turn on the radio station and the radio stations are all crap music, that matters because that's a part of the gameplay experience. Um, you know, certain things do matter in games. It's not just like it's just your opinion. No, some things depends on the game. Like if you're playing an RPG and they focus and the people making that game focus way too much on graphics, that's a problem because you wind up with Final Fantasy as it is right now. It's gorgeous. Final Fantasy has never looked better. The games suck, but they're good looking games. you know. So eh. Anyone else have anything else they want to say about the hardware resolution war, where people keep on fighting over like
Looks.
well the resolution of the games. You notice they never talk about frame rate, just the resolution.
Ah.
Not to mention that once the 4K and 8K TVs become mainstream, they're gonna up-res whatever is the like. It doesn't matter. It's gonna up-res what's coming with a signal anyway. So that's just kind of stupid, but whatever. Uh, Anyone else have anything else they want to say about it before we move on?
I think we're good. Oh, come on!
Uh-oh. All right, Kanoshi, you want to get to your second topic?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the PS5 scalping slash the you know. Well, apparently the scalp like I said last week, we've seen scalping I've it's been like this before. It's just never been to the level as it's never been this bad. You're getting to the point where people are stealing PlayStation consoles and then selling them online, and then those people buying those PlayStation consoles and being locked out of their system because the system was reported stolen. So it's just kind of like it's just
I mean, I
yeah,
don't
it's
know
just
why
not a whole
people
different
are
level.
spending. I don't know why we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of people don't have jobs or they're on reduced hours. They would rather spend money on a video game console than,
The
you
fact
know.
that you have $1,500 to burn on a or on an inflated console, essentially the inflated cost of a console, then where it makes me wonder where the heck your priorities are.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, look,
it's
it's
just
their
like,
money. They can spend it any way they damn well please.
hey, yeah, you can do whatever you want with your money, but don't
Makes
don't
you
start
question what
crying.
is on their
Don't,
minds when they use that money.
Yeah.
don't start crying about money, or don't
Yeah.
crying about not having enough money when you spent, you know, money on a console that you're going to be disappointed with in the next few months because it's going to have no games to play.
Yeah, which is every launch console except for the Switch, because the Switch had some good stuff at launch. I will give it that much credit. It had some good consoles at launch. I mean, it had some good games at launch. Yeah, the big one, Legend of Zelda, was a cross-gen game, but still, that's a good game to. You could spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months playing that game. There was a lot of time that you could spend playing
There,
that game with.
yeah, I was about to say, depending on the game, you can really be lost in it for hours.
Well,
Especially if you are an RPG fan at times.
yeah, if you're an RPG, RPGs are good launch games because you can spend a lot of time on those games. But most of the launch games on these new consoles are quick games to play and beat.
Or demonstration games, such as One to Switch.
Or yeah, a demo that they made into a full game, like a tech demo that they made into a full game, like what was that game?
I said One to Switch.
No, I'm choosing another one on top of that wasn't a Nintendo game. The Order. That was
The
that was a
Order.
that was a tech demo. You know, that was a damn tech demo for the PS3. That wasn't a full game.
Ah.
You know, I mean, and Nintendo, look, Nintendo's been doing that for years. Like Pilot Wings is a tech demo for Mode 7. Okay? You know, no one is exempt. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if anything, sometimes those tech demos are pretty neat.
Well, I mean, more often than not, Nintendo can pull it off with some aplomb. But like I said, Pilot Wings, it's a tech demo for Mode 7, but it's also a good game. You know, F Zero, a tech demo for Mode 7, also a good game. You know, Mario Kart, they like the things they learned from F Zero, they put into Mario Kart, and that's why you have Mario Kart. But it started with F Zero, because really, I mean, if you measure the original F Zero by today's standards, there's only 4 vehicles and only like 6 tracks for a $70 game. Come on, you know.
I was about to make the comment that how how different does those 4 cars feel on the track?
I mean, they do feel different because each vehicle kind of like has an extreme. Like Samurai Goro's vehicle is slower, but it has higher acceleration and it's more maneuverable. Falcon's vehicle is pretty fast, but not as maneuverable. And the other two guys' stuff is, you know, like one has lower stats, but it's ultra maneuverable. Like they fit the different balances for how people would like to play the game. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, even though like, okay, look, no one would accept a racing game today with only 4 playable racing vehicles. Like, no one would accept that. And 6 tracks, they'd be like, for a full price, a AAA game, get the hell out of my face. And yet that was acceptable back then because that was, you know, the standards are different now than they were back then. So, you know.
Yeah. I was just saying that if anything, that for 6 track, that 4 vehicles that only have different stats, it kind of makes you wonder how it feels. So how it felt back then versus how it would feel now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But with that being said, that's my own personal opinion. I know some people will disagree. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, people quit buying these consoles. You know,
At launch.
Just wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
quit buying these consoles at launch. Just wait. I mean, again, you're gonna buy this console, and then 2 to 3 months down the road, when you're finished all your games, because all your games are one and done games, especially Sony games, one and done, and you're gonna be like, you're gonna look at it. It's gonna be nothing to play, you know, until possibly next summer, maybe in the fall. You're gonna have that long drought, and you're gonna look at that console, and you're gonna wonder why I spent this much money on this freaking thing, taking up space.
Yeah.
Like, I've been through the whole console launch woes, you know, had that problem with the Wii U, but then again, you know, I mean, there are good games on the Wii U. It's just that there are a lot
I mean,
of,
look, I hate to say this with the Wii U, but with the Wii U, we had the virtual console. So you could basically play all your old shit on your new shit. With these new consoles, most of them aren't even really backwards compatible. You know, I mean, with the Xbox Series X, with the Sexbox, you at least have Game Pass where you play new shit for like $15 a month. But with the PS4, I mean PS5, they're like, well, most of these games are backwards compatible. It's like this quagmire. You need a flow chart and a decoder ring to figure out what you can and cannot play. It's just kind of like these systems are a mess. They launch so haphazardly that I'm not impressed. So, yeah, I said it. Anyway, anything else you guys want to say before we move on to the next topic?
I think I'm good. So, if anything, I think that leads us to
Kanoshi's final topic, which would be of
The
all things.
Game Awards.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Game Awards.
What brought this up, Kanosh?
So, I guess the Game Awards happened
Yeah, they happened.
last week or something. Any
I
announcement?
think they're
I
supposed to
didn't-
have.
I didn't watch.
I think they're supposed to happen. They're coming on tonight, but
Well, I guess.
I mean,
Ghost
a
of
lot of the
Tsushima
voting has
won.
already come in, so they're just announcing shit that people already knew.
Yeah, 'cause I guess Ghost of Tsushima won Game of the Year.
I'm glad.
Surprisingly. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad Ghost of Tsushima won Game of the Year because
Heard good things about it.
I
Game
mean,
Well-
that people actually liked.
yeah, I heard it was a good
Winning
game.
hmm.
I heard it was a good game. And I'm glad Last of Us didn't get it. So yeah.
Last stuff and Final Fantasy VII got shafted that round, so
People know that game is trash. I don't know why people are still. No, it's good. Come on, you know that game is trash.
yeah. I was just about to say that I hope that at least one of the two, did not get a win.
You know that game is trash. Everybody knows that The Last of Us, that Final Fantasy VII remake is trash.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys keep on. I don't know why people keep on trying to. Final Fantasy VII remake is like. It's like basically people trying to hype that game up is like someone who went on a date with someone who was an asshole, but they don't want to hear people say "I told you so," so they keep on trying to.
Make it work.
Yeah, make it work. It's like, look, listen, look. Yeah, I told you so's are bad. But sometimes you have to acknowledge that you fucked up, so that you don't do it again. All right, you have to acknowledge there's a problem first before you can fix the problem. All right. It's like people living in denial about things. You can't live in denial about things that you don't like. All right.
Mhm.
You know.
I mean, I hate to say this, but I hate to get political, but I mean that's part of the problems wrong in the world right now. Is that people are in denial about things that they don't like. You know, you can't be in denial about things you don't like. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Okay, if you don't like things, you just don't like it, and that's life. You know. But you can't like ignore, because let me put it this way, okay? You can't go through life ignoring things that you find unpleasant, because eventually, especially if it's something major, it's gonna catch up to you. Okay? Like if you are a diabetic and you aren't doing the things you need to do to take care of your diabetes, and then your toes start getting discolored, and then they turn black and start falling off. You could have said they're gonna cut off your leg. They're gonna cut it off because you didn't do the stuff you were supposed to do and you ignored the problem. Okay. You know, if your house, you know, if your house has an issue where like, some of the stuff, like, you know, like you've got signs of a termite infestation and you just ignore it, don't be surprised when eventually your house is falling down around you. All right.
Mhm.
So But that's my own personal opinion. Anything else you guys want to say about it before we move on to the next topic?
Um, I was about to say, aren't there more Game Awards to worry about?
I mean, I
Not really. It's just this is the. I mean, they have Game Awards in
I was
February
I
or
was about to
whatever,
say I thought that they
but
would announce more of the winners so we could
well, they're doing it
report on that
tonight,
one.
but I'm not watching it because
yeah, I'm not
I
watching
just
it
don't
either.
care.
Oh, okay.
It's
I mean, I
tonight,
just
tonight.
frankly just don't care about the Game Awards this year. Like let me put it this way. There are things that I would normally do that I'm not doing this year. Like this year, I'm forcing myself to put up my Christmas decorations. Normally, I love doing that shit. I didn't do Halloween this year. I put up a sign like I'm not doing trick or treating this year. Don't ring my doorbell. Don't knock on my door. Um, like I'm gonna force myself to put up my Christmas tree. I'm gonna do a little bit of decoration in the front of my house. I'm not doing like this has not been a year where I feel like being all festive and doing a lot of shit. I'm sorry. I mean, not even watching the Game Awards and picking on picking on people is gonna make me happy. So, you know, it's just how it is. Sadly. So,
So if anything, I could at least say that we could make at least one. We could at least make some jokes about the Game Awards or talk about past Game Awards to
all I'm gonna say is
to
this: Jeff Keighley single-handedly destroyed the Xbox One by
Jeff
himself.
Yeah.
Jeff
Yeah.
Keighley destroying the Xbox One.
Or to be fair, Jeff Keighley didn't destroy the Xbox One. Don Matrick destroyed the Xbox One. And Jeff
Yeah,
Keighley
that's what I was thinking.
Jeff Keighley was there to document it. He
Oh,
documented Don Matrick killing Don
yeah,
Matrick
Don
killing a console. I
He was
remember
fired.
I remember
He
when
was-
we watched that. I think you were there. Dr. Feelgood was there. Like we were watching, and we were like, I said when we were watching, I'm like, that man's not gonna have a job next month. They're gonna
Yeah.
fire his ass, and I'll be
gonna say,
damned.
Lo and behold, they
It
fired
probably
him.
took a bit, but he did fire him.
No, within a month, within 2 weeks, his ass was gone. Like I knew
Yeah.
when he said that, I was like, yeah, he ain't gonna make it.
I was thinking that you'd say that he'd be gone in a week.
No, I said by the end of this month, the beginning within a month, he's not going to be working at Microsoft.
In that case, you were right.
And yep, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was pretty bad. I mean, I don't really feel bad about it, but I mean, I mean, I know some people are gonna get mad, but about it, but I'm just gonna say it right now. I mean, that was pretty much the most fun thing there. Was just seeing seeing Don Matrick literally destroy his own console.
Yeah,
Which is
that was
sad and a hilarious moment at the same time.
I think that was E3 2013 that happened. Cause yeah, that was the E3 that. No, was it 20? Yes.
No, this was the first Game Award when this happened because they were like, yeah, we're gonna show off. You're gonna see the Xbox, and so like Jeff Keighley's up there. He's like, so what are you gonna say to consumers who want who don't have a stable online connection, don't want to be online all the time? Well, we have a product for people like that. It's called the Xbox 360, and Jeff Keighley, Jeff, like okay, let me put it this way. Jeff Keighley was facing away from the camera, okay? All you saw was Don Matrick's face. But the way, like, you could tell the look that Jeff Keighley gave Don Matrick by what Don Matrick's face did. That whatever that look was, Don Matrick at that, like, we should find that recording, stop it right there, and say, at this moment, Don Matrick knew that he had fucked up. Because he tried to save it. He's like, well, we have people who use our Xbox and they're on submarines and they don't have. I'm like, look, man, when you said that, you fucked up. It's like, so let me get this straight. You're telling people that don't want to be always online that they should stick with their 360s. Is that what you're saying? And Don Matrick, he was like, oh, shit. I fucked up. It's like, yeah, you fucked up. All right. So, that was kind of funny. I mean, it was funny seeing a grown-ass man torpedo his career. And I mean, just completely torpedo it. I mean, it was dead. Double tapped it. 2 in the head. So that was kind of funny. I mean, I don't really like the Game Awards. I haven't really enjoyed E3 either. For the past few years.
For me, I actually enjoy E3 for seeing what's coming up next, as in get a preview of what's to come. But then again, if anything, it kind of goes into a more detailed action.
Well, I mean, okay, look, I'm a Nintendo fan, so Nintendo's E3 is interesting. Like, Nintendo's E3 I like because I own Nintendo products. The first console I get every generation is a Nintendo console, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Even though the Switch is kind of disappointing to me, okay, but I still am a Nintendo fan. So Nintendo's E3 and their announcements I enjoy because I like Nintendo's products. I like their console. I like their first party and second party and third party exclusive games. But E3 and like the only interesting thing about E3 is over the past few years has been Devolver Digital's thing where they make fun of E3, which is hilarious. Like I don't like Microsoft's things because they're boring. And mostly just a waste of money. Like I remember one year they dropped a Ford Mustang from the ceiling, a Shelby.
Oh no!
A Shelby.
Ridge Racer.
No, well this is Microsoft. It was for Forza. They dropped a Mustang Shelby from the ceiling of wherever they were in wherever the hell that was. And like the whole time I'm like, this is just stupid. I'm like, why would you even do that?
You should have seen the Just Dance parties that happened.
And then Microsoft with that showing off the Xbox One TV sports, TV sports.
I was about to say, surprised nobody fell asleep on that.
I'm like, don't nobody give a shit. Like, no one who's really into the Xbox gives a shit about TV, or sports. Have you seen some of those big fat ass motherfuckers playing the Xbox? The only thing they'll run after is an ice cream truck. And that's only for a little bit until they realize they can't catch it. They're like, I'll eat the ice cream I got in the fridge at the house. They're so fat they breathe fat. Xbox strong, son. I'm on Xbox Live. I know that's a stereotype. I shouldn't say that. But
I mean,
I like
Doritos and Mountain Dew all the time. What are you gonna do?
You know, and I keep on saying like, and I know people are gonna be like, how could you say that? Look, listen, okay. I just saw a commercial on TV where they were talking about the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, whatever,
And
and
they were pro Mountain Dew.
well, it was not. It was for that Code Red energy drink Mountain Dew shit, and I'm like, come on, you guys are living up to that fucking stereotype.
Yes,
It's been that way for
I'm
years,
just waiting
so.
for the Doritos codes to come up.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. They'll come. They'll probably come next year. I'm guessing January, February.
Yeah, I was. At least you could say that they they know how to live the meme.
So yeah, I know some people are gonna get angry, but I just don't care about like the Xbox has never interested me. Okay, I don't like the console. You know, I'm not one of those people. You know, I heard people when the Xbox came out. Well, don't you want to support an American company? No.
You want to support a functioning company.
You know, like okay, like everyone's like, well, we want to make America. Look, listen. What's the last American product that anyone bought that was worth a damn?
Do you really want to try to answer that one? Because that could be years back.
It would be hard. No, I mean that you bought, that you personally bought, where you went out of your way to get it because it was American and it was worth a damn. Because I haven't owned an American-made anything in a very long time that was well made, well crafted, and I felt good supporting American people who made it because it was quality.
Parts of it was probably made in China. I mean, they might say, "Oh, made in America," but say the engine was made in China. Something like we're talking about a car.
Oh, I haven't. The only vehicle that I'm thinking of getting that's made in America that I'm like, you know what, I really want to buy this is the new Mustang, the new electric vehicle Mustang. Yes, there's a Mustang model that is an electric Mustang, and I'm thinking of getting it because, everyone in my family has had a Mustang except for me, and I'm at the point in my life where I don't have kids, I'm not married, and I have spare income, and I think, I want to get something for myself. I'll probably get a Mustang, and that'll be it. But I want to get a environmentally conscious Mustang, so.
Be a Christmas present to yourself.
No, not Christmas. They jack up the prices that time of year. If you're gonna go car buying, you got to do it after Labor Day. So it'll be next year later on. But that's the type of thing I'm talking about.
So that's when you buy a car or a mattress. It's after Labor Day.
Yeah. Because they're getting, or actually when the new models come out, because they're getting rid of the old shit. So whenever the new shit comes out, you get rid of that and get the new shit. But that's my thing. I don't really care about but that's my own personal opinion. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we move on to the next topic?
I think it's going to be fun to see how much of a train wreck the Game Awards are going to be.
I'll watch the after effect. I'm not watching it.
I didn't say if we're going to watch it live or not.
I ain't watching it. I ain't. No. Game Awards can go suck it.
I'll see if I could watch it live, but if not, I'll join you guys in that.
Like Sean Connery said in those Celebrity Jeopardy knockoffs on SNL, shuck it hard and shuck it deep. That's what the Game Awards can do. I don't care. I really don't care.
For me, I like to see how much suckage I could pull off.
I don't even feel like picking on it. That's how little I care about the Game Awards. Like normally, it's like, well, I can watch this and joke at it. Like okay, like the last Star Wars film that I saw in movie theaters the day it came out was Revenge of the Sith, and I watched it with some friends of mine. They had already seen it, and I'd already seen it, and we, no, yeah, it was Revenge of the Sith, and they had already seen it. because it wasn't when it came out. They'd already seen it, but they had seen it at their college, and I had seen it when I was in college, and we saw it together, and we just spent like the entire time picking on the movie, like Mystery Science Theater 3000. And like it was fun. It was fun picking on the movie. Like that part where Darth Vader is talking, where Hayden Christensen is talking shit to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he makes that jump, and Obi-Wan's gonna be like, "Don't do it, Anakin. I have the higher ground. I have the higher ground."
Oh, you're talking about. Wait. Oh, was that what it was called? Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. He's like, don't do it, Anakin. I have the higher ground. You're afraid of my power. Ah! And Obi-Wan Kenobi gave him that ass whooping. He's like, I warned you. Look, here's the thing, right? I can't get mad at Obi-Wan Kenobi because he warned him. He's like, look, don't do it. I have the higher ground. He's like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. You can't tell me what to do. Okay, how about this lightsaber tell you what to do, huh? and then, like, okay, not only is he now missing 3 limbs, but he slides down that, little bank and gets ignited by the. I mean, like, here's the thing. This scene is so badly shot, but also so unintentionally funny, because hearing Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, get ignited on fire. It's like, this is how overly simplistic George Lucas's morality system is in Star Wars. Darth Vader, who committed genocide, killed children, basically force choked his wife, his pregnant wife, by the way, which means, I mean, that's particularly heinous. To attack a woman is bad. To attack a pregnant woman, you ain't shit. But your penalty is that you become an invalid and get lit on fire. I mean, that's pretty fucked up.
Uh-huh.
You know? I mean, that is, goddamn. I mean, and be in an abusive relationship for like 30 plus years. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. That's a horrific punishment. But yeah, you know, it's. And my friends and I was like, yeah, man, he's barbecue now. Barbecue on Mustafar. and we were like, look, it was hilarious. We were the only people in there watching it, and it was great. But I mean, like, look, okay, Star Wars, you know, it's like I can't even hate watch the Game Awards because I just don't care about like none of the games that are on their list of games do I care about. Like, I legit don't care. So that ain't doing shit. And then, you know, it's just I don't care. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Don't care. So. But anyway, that's my own opinion. Anything else you guys want to say before we move on to the final topic?
Well, we got 15 minutes, so let's see what rolls out.
Okay, so the final topic I decided to do for myself because I thought this would be an interesting topic. So what are your nominations for Game of the Year? Your personal Game of the Year, not their Game of the Year. Whoever the hell that is. Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year.
That's a little tricky for me, but I'd say it's between the. I'd say it would be between the no, what was it? Oh yeah, I was trying to say this right. Cadence of Hyrule, and for me, the one I bought one of the few games I bought this year would be the Yu-Gi-Oh game for the Switch.
Really?
Yeah.
I have 2 nominees for Game of the Year for me. Number 1 is Yakuza. Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, and Cyberpunk 2077, which I have not played, but I've seen people playing it, and it looks pretty good. So those are my two nominations for Game of the Year. I will not be able to make a determination until I play it, play the second game, and then it'll be between those two. But you'll find out Saturday. I'll be like, is this my Game of the Year? Is it not? Who knows? Kenoshi, you have
my nominees are Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 and Hades. Hades because of I like, it was the one and only roguelike game I could get into because of the characters and the lore, and and Tony Hawk 1+2 the remake that was pretty good just because it just reminded me of
just how good that series is, or used to be.
Used to be, yeah.
Back in the day before Activision destroyed it.
Yeah.
It used to be good, damn it. Be like that guy about wrestling. It's real to me, damn it. The team that made Tony Hawk Pro Skater also made a Red Dead Redemption game before Red Dead Redemption called
Red Dead Revolver?
No, they made a game before Red Dead Redemption. It basically hit all those beats of Red Dead Redemption, but it was called Gun.
Oh, Gun.
Yeah. And it was actually pretty good. And the game sold okay, but not great. And they were going to make a sequel, and they pulled them off of that to go back to making Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, that sucks.
Because Activision, basically, what they do is that they get something that sells well, and then they just release it until it's run into the ground. And then they leave it alone for a while, and then they come back. So now they're coming back on Tony Hawk. So get ready to have that shit run into the ground until it's dead again. So those are my nominations. Anyone have any quick topics they want to get to before we wrap things up? Anything they also want to talk about, forgot about? Nothing?
Well, I'm surprised that we gotten through all that, but then again, just a quick check. We did finish our nominations for A-hole of the year.
Yeah, we did. The winner was Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Or we gotta give them a new name. Ubisoft is no longer Ubisoft. It's
Ubi Carp.
No, it's Ubi shit.
Yeah, I always go with the censors with me.
Well, because Ubi crap just doesn't really have the same. Because Ubisoft, Ubi shit, or if we want to be really nice, Ubisoft serve.
Yeah, we could rave on those guys for a while.
Yeah.
Though, if anything, it's not the Golden Poo, but they kind of earn their own reputation.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. We used to think EA was the bottom of the barrel.
I was about to say EA is one of the bottoms of the barrel.
Well, we used to think EA was at the bottom of the barrel, but the worst you have to worry about at EA is being overworked to the point where you have to go see a psychiatrist and take off for a year, go on sabbatical for a year after a game comes out, and that's bad. But at least you aren't being verbally sexually harassed and being fed drugs and stuff without your knowledge.
And suggested to be needing to be opened.
Yeah, being raped until your mind opens up. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, come on, man. For real? Like, I was like, well, it can't be that bad at Ubisoft. And then I read that, and I was like, God damn, that's terrible. Like there, you can't even spin that to not be messed up. You know, you can't even be like, well, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's that bad. So, Ubisoft is literally the worst company of 2020. They are the a-hole of the year. So, you know, I would say it's an honor, but it really isn't. You know, you got the Game Award, Game of the Year. They're the a-hole of the year.
Oh yeah.
So, so with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Anything you guys want to pimp out, talk about, bring up?
I think I could sum up something for a bit. Next time on the game, next time on BS Busters, we'll likely be roasting what happened at the Game Awards or what we didn't see.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll give our overview thoughts of the Game Awards, who won, who lost. We'll also do our own Game of the Year. We'll give Game of the Year to a game. We'll give our own Game of the Year. We're not going to do different categories. It's just going to be who's got the Game of the Year.
Probably our personal ones, but
yeah.
Still.
Our personal Game of the Year and why. So that'll be fun. Anything else you guys want to pimp out? Anything? Any TV shows you guys watching you think people need to give some love to?
I would say, if you got Animaniacs, have some good fun. Just be ready for some sour jokes if your humor is of a different nature.
You saw the new Animaniacs?
A
Finally?
bit of it.
Yeah. It's not terrible. It's not the worst reboot I've seen, but it's not as good as it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Mostly because they don't have those other characters. Like, if they had those other characters, it'd probably be better, but, you know.
Yeah, but as I said, it depends on how you like your humor. Because the humor is, well, it's less of a weapon.
Well, I mean, from what I saw in the new show, the jokes that are more like just general jokes hit better, but the ones that are really political, they're too current, and so this was supposed to come out earlier this year. So things that hit, it's like, wow, this would have really hit.
You're a bit late to the party.
Yeah, this would have really hit had it come out when it was supposed to, but like literally, like this
COVID
is coming out.
happened.
Yeah, COVID happened and messed it all up. So I'm pretty sure if they once they get to season 2, it'll probably be better written. Knock on wood. And hopefully they'll bring back more of the old characters. Because, I mean, you know, once you get further in, you're going to be like, man, if they brought back some of the old characters, this would be so much better.
Yeah, I mean, Animaniacs, like some other shows, is a variety show.
Yeah.
In a sense. And you can't have Animaniacs or something like that without having a good cast of various characters to work with.
It would be like Saturday Night Live, where all you had was just the news corner. That's it.
Yeah.
No other skits, just the news corner. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There's some gold humor in some of those Animaniacs pieces.
Yeah.
You just gotta look for them.
Well, Buttons and Mindy, Good Idea, Bad Idea. They didn't even bring back Good Idea, Bad Idea. Good Idea, Bad Idea.
Yeah, I mean, that Good Idea, Bad Idea was so remembered that it's actually a meme and used in other videos for other things. Good Idea, Bad Idea for card games.
Yeah, good idea. Learning to play the violin. Bad idea. Learning to play the violin while surrounded by a group of violin-hating mimes. Good idea. Learning to sing. Bad idea. learning to sing around a bunch of singing hating mimes. No, not again. Yeah, like good idea, bad idea was just great, but like I don't think Animaniacs can be carried just with the with the Warner Brothers and Sister Dot and Warner Sister Dot and
Yeah.
Pinky and the Brain. They need to bring back some of the older characters, the other characters in that show.
Good feathers flock together. Sloppy waxer with their purse.
Yep.
Oh God, I actually remember the lyrics of it.
If you keep on watching it, if you have it on Hulu, just keep on watching it, and you'll see what happened to them, and you're gonna be like, "That's some bullshit." No way, bullshit. But anyway, that's either here nor there. Let's wrap things up. That's the end of this podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, peace, and
Hype responsibly. We are going